We can exclude all this. We can delete even. I delete even this. So you can export in parts. That is the conclusion. Any other questions, guys? Today I wanted to show you. Same. Yeah, if you wanted to reuse the script in a different job, then you'll have to copy paste it and write a new script, or you put it under the workflow if you wanted to make it a reusable. See, I will show you the difference. Here I wanted to make it reusable. Whereas get into a data flow or a workflow, here there is also a script file. This I am not doing it as a reusable object. If you want to use the same script, you can copy it, paste it anywhere. Two ways, right? Why I tried to use the initialize script as a reusable object is because there is a lot of logic in it. There is a lot of intelligence I have put in there. Whereas this is a non-reusable script. It is only particular to this particular workflow. It cannot come outside the workflow. It won't talk even anything outside the workflow. So if you wanted to make use of the same script somewhere else, you copy paste it anywhere, it works. But if you wanted to talk about reusability, when I make a change here, will it get affected in the entire project? Then you will have to put the script under a workflow, change the script, the workflow will automatically reflect everywhere. Make sense, Krishna? Any other questions before I show you at least one small job? We are going to make effort to get a small text file into a database file, or a flat file to a flat file. We can do only one sample thing today. We have 10 more minutes left over on our time slot today. So if you have no questions, I will proceed with showing you at least one table, guys. Can I do that? So yeah. So what we are going to do now is, I'm going to ask you. You must be a Gajni now. Forget everything whatever I told so far. See what I'm going to do. It will surprise you. Forget everything whatever we thought about it so far. I deleted everything under this job. I have nothing, because I wanted to get into the history of my hero, my film, my movie. I told my hero used to stay in a slum with a bag. In a bag he has everything, his belongings that he used for bathing, for going to his job, for sleeping, everything is in one single place. So that single place, which I am calling as a flat file here in the database, if it is not structured, if it is not in the relational world, you call it as a flat file. Flat file is all you have is a delimiter. Like how we do in an, if you are given 100 number of things to pack in a small box, what will you do? You try to put some partitions, some layers. You will put a white paper in between two different things. On top you have cloths. Below that you have a pickle. You will try to wrap the pickle with something. So you have something called as a delimiter that separates between two data elements. All we are going to do today is, I have my hero's dumpster, his own bag. I'm going to move that into a relational world. Today we will learn only that particular thing. So to do that, what I am talking about is, I want a flat file, right? So let me create a flat file. When I say create, I am going to only access the flat file. Flat file will be already there, but I will have to give a logical name for it. So I am saying flat file hero history. I will call it as hero hist. So the delimited, it is whether delimited or fixed width or SAP transport. We have three ways. I will put it as delimited. And adaptable schema, no. Customer transport program, I don't have any transport program. Whether it is local or job server, both are the same for me, so I can put as a job server. What is my root directory? So I can pass my root directory with a file path, and I can pass my file name because I have put the global variables. Let me not even confuse you with the global variables. No, I'm not going to do that way. First, let us start learning uh, in an uh, a very dirty manner. Then we will become experts. So in here, data services would have given you a lot of sample files. So use only them so that your life is easier. So in the tutorial, go and look for the tutorial. You have the name location, name POS department, sales all. So let us take at least one of them. This is a text file, it is a delimited file. Name and date. Because it is our hero history, let us take name and location. I mean, just for example, right? So we can take any one of these files. So first thing I will have to do is I will have to copy the file path. So let me take name and date. So I copy this path. I go back and this is the root directory. And below that I will have to give the file name itself, right? So when I put the path, I have to go back, get the file name. Name date is the file name. So I put that dot txt. And what is the delimiter? See, but the moment I put there, because it is a comma separated file, you got the data here. So where is the data now? It is in data services. Data services has got the data, and if you see, there is no field name, but the first name is the first column or the first row of data is actually field name. So I don't want it to be data, it is actually metadata, the first column or the first row of data. So how I do it as a header? I can go here and say write row header. So skipped rows, style headers. Sometimes this one will work and sometimes it doesn't work. That is I noticed many times. So see here. So skip row header. I say yes, and say write row header. I say yes. So it has given them the names. These are the headers. And now I'm going to save and close it. So in my job, I'm going to use this flat file. So see, if I am trying to pull a flat file into my job, it won't come. So I will get a data flow. So I will call it as a df underscore demo heroes history. So I'm calling it some dirty name. So if I get into a data flow, here it will allow you to pull out this flat file. So I have the flat file now. I wanted to move it into some source, some table, which is my stage environment. So to do that, I will have to actually define or create a data store. A data store is a logical representation. So all here I am doing is I will say edw stg underscore ds. So what is the database I am going to take? For today's example, I will take database MySQL because that is only the database that is on my mission, and it is the default database that is being provided by business objects installation. So to access MySQL, you will have to have ODBC. ODBC is an open database connectivity. So I'm going to add an ODBC here. So in the ODBC, I want which kind of an ODBC? Do not worry about this ODBC, this kind of a language, guys. It is very easy. We'll look at it clearly later. So data source name, I will say ODS stage. And then description is fine. This is a local host. And then user is ODS. Password is ODS because I already created a user called as ODS, and so I'm directly using it. So I have that ODS and I want to test it. The connection is successful. I say okay. Now I okay. Now I go here and select ODS stage. What is the username? It is again asking me. So when I say apply, it successfully got applied, which means I am able to create a data store here. So after I create a data store, do I have any tables under it is a question mark. Oh, I have clicked on a wrong data store which I created earlier. So let me cancel that. Now I have created, which is the one I created now? EDW stage DS. I think this one. Yeah. If you go under it and try to double click on the what, was it a question for me? Yeah, yeah. True. That is what I was telling you. You can do a direct data flow under a job. It is possible. It is allowed. But you cannot do a workflow inside a data flow. Reverse is not possible. So data flow is the lowest among the hierarchy, but you need not have the wrapper around. It is more like you can have the same roti on an on an street side hotel. Whereas if you go to a nice five-star hotel, they will wrap it properly and make the magic on top of the roti and serve you. It's the same way. Your purpose, define your purpose. If you are very hungry, you want to eat, the roadside roti is fine. So now we are going with the roadside roti mode. We are going to, yeah, and finally we'll come up with the wrapping of it, presenting of it. That comes later. Okay. So I told the first point is become a Gajni. Forget about whatever I have spoke to you for the past 4 hours. Believe that we are only from scratch. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm establishing a target data store here. So in the data store, I have created a data store, but my data store doesn't have any tables. Whatever the tables you are seeing here are information schema tables that are system tables. You cannot touch a system table. If you touch a system table from information schema, your entire database may get corrupted or entire schema may get corrupted. So data services give you a very beautiful option. Not every tool has this. You can create a template table. You can create a database table from here itself. So I'm going to give this table name as stg underscore heroes hist. This is my table name. And the owner of it is ODS. Everything is fine. So once I say that, I got a table created here. If you ask me, is this the real table? Yes, in database